So let's have a talk about this thing that we do sometimes called a joint engineer and appraisal. Have one that's going on right now where the perils of this behavior have shown up pretty loud and proud. Let me set this up for you. My opposing appraiser hasn't gotten on the roof, doesn't want to get on the roof, doesn't think he can prove the roof because there wasn't enough damage that was shown underneath 2 years later. He didn't really look at the pictures, he didn't really think through it, but he said, hey, we'll do a joint engineer. I'll get the carrier to pay for it. It'll be great. We order the engineer. The engineer spends 6 long months getting the report together. The report comes in and we study it. Lo and behold, the report hasn't considered any of the other data, hasn't considered the fact that the insureds put sealant on all of the fasteners that had backed out or lost their gaskets on the roof after the peril. There were some things that were flanged, that basically bumped up, and they said, well, this just hasn't been kept because there's no sealant inside of it. Why the hell would it be that high? I don't know, but it just, you get my point, that the report just didn't look at a lot of the historical information on the thing and didn't do a very good forensic job. So now, what is my thing I have to do now? I got to put my big boy britches on. And I've got to actually say, hey, opposing appraiser, whoa, look at all this data that your engineer, our engineer did not actually work through, okay? That didn't actually look at this stuff, didn't look at the history, didn't understand it, didn't ask questions, didn't know what they were talking about. And so I'm basically right back at square one, but I'm still the only one that's been on the roof. So I'm hoping that that'll come through. Now, let me tell you about something else. Another thing that I had that was a strange, where this joint engineer was kind of weird as well. Okay, I'm the umpire. The two opposing appraisers, before it gets to the umpire, have actually gotten a joint engineer. Each of the umpires were not going to be at the meeting with the engineer. We found out after I was invoked and after we were in the process of doing the umpire work that one of the opposings had actually been at the meeting with the engineer. There were 3 lines in that engineer report that worked really well within the theme of one of those appraisers, the appraiser that had been there. Those 3 lines altogether created $216,000 worth of scope items that were structural in nature, that literally were on a building that has not received over 46 mile per hour winds any time in the last 7 years. I don't care who you are. The fact that both those appraisers had to abide by what that joint engineer had said dropped the entire panel into a situation where all in all, I think the claim was basically overpaid. Now, as umpire, I had to deal with differences, which is fine. But in this case, it just didn't feel very good because those $216,000 worth of differences that they had then agreed to based on the expert report were not something that I could deal with. But I could see how it was just really not a good thing. So all I'm saying to you is if you're going to do joint engineers, you might talk about reserving your rights. And you might talk about going in, having the engineer confirm that they've gotten all of the historical information which they will use in their determination. Because without this, it turns into a mess. And those are just my thoughts today. Guys, hope you have a good Thanksgiving if you're going to get to take some time off. I'm not. I mean, I'm going to have Thanksgiving, but I'm not taking time off. I got a few things to do. Peace, y'all.